Yo, what you lot say? It's your boy here, and today what I've got for you, it is a MotoGP 2015 Grand Prix of Spain for you guys. And yeah, let's get right down to it. So, we'll start off with free practice because apparently, we'll start off with actually before the weekend got going, and that was that Marc Marquez had been involved in sort of like a motocross accident, which broke his finger. Which really put him in a real big disadvantage going into the weekend. As well, Pedrosa, who we all predicted was going to be in this weekend, had not been this weekend. He decided to take 2 more weeks off, and yeah, I think hopefully he'll be back in Le Mans. I'm not quite sure. If not, then Mugello after that. So yeah. I mean, what he's got at the moment, I'll talk briefly on it. If you guys want me to do like a deep talks episode on this, then hit the like button and I'll definitely do that. So yeah, and yeah, basically what happened was that his arm, he had an arm pump problem. Now, if you don't know what that means, it means that the muscle, I think some bits around the muscle, I think they tense up and whatnot, and I think one part of the muscle squashed another part of the muscle to a point that, you know, it got really painful and it got really uncomfortable for Pedrosa to a point that he couldn't continue, and as a result had to take surgery after Qatar. So yeah, I think that's the best way I can describe it at the moment. So yeah, it is a serious matter. I've also heard that if the surgery does not go well, then it will get worse. So yeah, it's sort of a 50-50 little life chancer thing for Pedrosa in terms of his surgery. And yeah, I think he undergoed it. I think he already did his surgery. So we're just waiting on more news on whether he's going to be back or not, whether it's got better or not. So yeah. So yeah. So moving on to the weekend. We saw before qualifying, just before qualifying, Marc Marquez fell off his bike going into turn 1. The front washed out and he fell off his bike, and that was it for Marquez for a little bit until we went back out again to do more laps on his bike. So yeah. And then going into qualifying, it was an alright qualifying. A lot of people were setting quick times. In particular, Batista in Aprilia really set some really quick lap times, really getting in there and trying to see if he can get into Q2. So really nice to see that Aprilia going nice and strong, being a lot better than it was in Argentina. So yeah. Another team, but in the end, the team that dominated Q1 and got both bikes into Q2 were the Pramacs of Danny Petrucci and Yoni Hernandez. So good ride from them too. Maverick was set to be going into Q2, but he made a couple of mistakes and really was so gutted to the point that he slapped himself a couple of times in frustration. So yeah, pretty frustrating times for the Spaniard. Of course, he would love to have been in Q2, especially at his home event. So yeah, really disappointing by Vinales, but hopefully he can make it. He can do better in the race. So yeah. And then going into Q2, we saw a lot of people setting a lot of quick times. We saw the Ducatis being there or thereabouts. To be honest, Ducati really hadn't had a good one, to be honest. You know, the factory Ducatis haven't had a good one. They haven't been right up there, you know, as they would in the first three races. So yeah, a little bit surprising, to be honest. But in the end, it was Jorge Lorenzo really came alive. He really came alive. He found that little edge that that we haven't seen in a while and got onto pole position. And as well, I think what did it as well was the contract as well, because apparently like he was in the middle of his contract, but there was like an escape sort of contract thing that he could like get out and whatnot. It was sort of like a get out pass sort of thing like that he had going pretty soon. So yeah, they got rid of that little thing there, and so Yamaha have said like during the weekend that they have renewed Jorge's contract, so Jorge will be staying for a long while with Yamaha, which is good. As a result, I think that put him in a better frame of mind going into qualifying, and as a result got him onto pole position. So good pole by the Spaniard, that is Jorge Lorenzo. Second was, I think, Marc Marquez. Good ride by him, he did really well in second place. Third was, I think, was Espargaro. Good ride by Espargaro there. Espargaro did a good job. I think Espargaro's, you know, really come alive. I think we're now seeing a revived Paul Espargaro now, because in the first race, if you haven't seen Paul really do much, you know, he's been there or thereabouts in the top 10. So yeah, it's nice to see him at the sharp end of the field. So yeah. Cal Crutchlow was 5th, I believe, so yeah, good ride by him as well. Valet was 4th, good ride by him, good lap by him as well. And so moving on into the race, it was a good start from Jorge Lorenzo. Paul Espargaro got a good start as well, tried to get out the inside of Marc Marquez, but didn't work out. Marc Marquez stood his ground and kept second place. But the worst was Iannone. Andrea Iannone in the Ducati had a really poor start. He dropped to like 8th or 9th. So not a good start, and same with Dovizioso. So both Ducatis not really having a good start as well, and it got worse as Dovizioso ran deep on a couple of occasions, and as a result dropped to the back of the field, which is so disappointing, to be honest. You know, this is probably Ducati's worst weekend, to be honest. You know, because we don't usually see them having troubles, you know, like we don't see them having that sort of troubles, you know, this year. You know, usually nowadays we are now used to seeing the Ducatis being right up there with the likes of Honda and Yamaha trying to score podiums and whatnot. So it is a bit surprising, to be honest. So yeah. But at the front, Lorenzo just pulled away. I mean, throughout the race, he was in a class of his own. It was all she wrote after the first corner. I mean, no one really came close to really having a good go, to be honest. So, but yeah. And then midway through the race, we saw Marc Marquez starting to struggle a little bit, and that as a result gave way to Rossi having a chance of getting second place. And it was a good battle between each other. Rossi chipping away, but in the end it was Marc Marquez who just found that extra bit of speed that he could use in defence of Rossi, who was attacking him for second place there. Also, we saw a good battle going on in the latter part of the race. It was for 10th place. It was a good battle between the two Pramacs, Scott Redding, Maverick Vinales, who had a terrible qualifying yesterday, running strong in 12th. So yeah, and as well Hector Barbera behind. So yeah, it was a good battle. So yeah. As well, Cal Crutchlow did really well. He got from 5th to 3rd. He overtook Alicia Espargaro down the inside going into the hairpin, and overtook Paul Espargaro as Paul made a mistake going into the two S's before the fast right-handers. So yeah, good overtake by a good decisive overtake by Cal Crutchlow there, and as a result finished in 4th. Good ride by Cal Crutchlow there. I think I'm massively happy for that, to be honest. I mean, I think that was the maximum he could have achieved, to be honest. So yeah, good ride by Cal Crutchlow in the LCR Honda. And yeah, in the end, like I said, Jorge Lorenzo just completely dominated the race. He took the win, about 4 seconds ahead of Marc Marquez in second. Third was Valentino Rossi, who tried his absolute hardest to overtake Marc Marquez, but in the end wasn't enough. A good ride by, a good battle between them both. No mistakes whatsoever between the three. Cam Crutchlow in fourth, like I said, good ride by him. Matt, I think the best he could have ever achieved. So yeah. Fifth was Paul Espargaro. Good ride by him. You know, a strong ride in that Tech 3 Yamaha there. Sixth was Alicia Spargaro. Good ride by him. Seventh was I'm not quite sure who seventh was. Eighth was Bradley Smith. Good ride by him. Ninth, I think. Ninth. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, seventh was Bradley Smith. Eighth was, I'm not sure to be honest. But yeah, it was a good race all throughout the field. A really enjoyable race, and yeah. So thank you very much for watching. It's your boy Jabba Boy. Please like, subscribe, and yeah, comment below. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. It's your boy Jabba Boy. I'm out. Peace.